Hey, what's up guys? John here. Peru has officially collapsed. 24,000 police officers on the ground, 21,000 protesters. Last week it was the Netherlands. The Netherlands collapsed 10 days ago. The Dutch Prime Minister pulled out of government. And then let's not forget, Kenya also collapsed. And France, they had all those protests, 45,000 officers on the ground, $1.5 billion in property damage. That was absolutely crazy. That spread to Switzerland and other areas. I mean, last year as well, remember Sri Lanka collapsed, not even a year ago, 11 months ago. We have all of these situations unfolding, but we have to ask ourselves, where are we headed? Well, in this video, I'm going to break it down. I'm going to show you exactly where we're headed because there's 12 other countries that are on the verge of heading here. And I personally believe that we're going to get it the worst, the West, America. America's in big, big trouble. Very big trouble. I'm going to break it down for you. Please hit the like button. When you hit the like button, YouTube will share this content to educate more people about what's really going on. And if you want to fix your credit, we'd love to help you at my company, greatcreditfast.com. That's greatcreditfast.com. Take a look at this. How Sri Lanka economic collapse raises alarm bells for other emerging markets. Now, this was August 2022, right? August 2022. Now, July 10th, Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte to leave politics after collapse of government. So just for a timeline's sake, because a lot of people they see so many things happening every day. It's a breaking story. So just to show you how fast this is actually progressing, this is July 10th. This is 10 days ago. This is today. 6 dead in Kenya, rocked by nationwide anti-government protest over gas tax. Well, it wasn't just a gas tax. There's also additional small business taxes. I was reading that in Kenya, business owners would have to take out small loans just to pay taxes, not even to make their own ends meet, just to pay taxes, and they were protesting over it. So you had this big situation in Kenya, and it's still going on. In France, just yesterday, 700 people handed prison sentences, 700, 1,000 people arrested. And now they approve a bill in France to allow police to locate suspects by tapping their phones. Pretty crazy, pretty crazy. Peru reports 7 blocked highways as anti-government protests restart. Well, look at just how big this situation is. So this situation, 21,000 people took part in the marches, right? 24,000 police officers were deployed throughout the country in the lead up to the protest, right? They want the entire government to step down in Peru. So you're starting to see these trends that are following. And we just have to ask ourselves, well, what happens next? How does this whole thing play out? Well, look at this. This is crazy. So the White House now deploys troops to bolster the right-wing coup, right? And this just came out as well. So what they're saying is Peru, what's at stake in the U.S. for Peru? So it says Peru has vast reservoirs of mineral deposits which are essential in the global capitalist system of production and distribution. The country is the second largest producer of copper, silver, and zinc. It is the third leading producer of lead and the fourth supplier of tin and moblin. The addition, Peru is the 8th largest producer of gold internationally and the #1 source in Latin America. According to one source, on the known mineral resources existing in the country, it is the relationship to a pre-colonial period. Peru's mining industry has always played a vital role in the nation's economy. Mining dated back to pre-Inca times and thrived through the Inca, colonial, and Republican periods, contributing to much of the country's development. Well, that country is about to get completely reshaped and changed to the likes in which people don't understand. Now look at what's actually happening in Peru. So click on our cities and go to Peru, right? So you click on Peru, Lima, Peru, and you click on Accelerator. And so if you go to Clean Air Accelerator, for example, you go to Clean Air Accelerator, and now they say that WHO estimates that dirty air caused 4.2 million premature deaths. Now, in Peru, you have a very large middle class. You have a very, very large level of the population that lives at or below poverty line. And so what they are doing now is they're establishing city baseline air pollution levels to set ambitious reduction targets that meet or exceed national commitments. These actions will be taken within 2 years of signing the pledge. The target will put us on a path towards meeting the new air quality guidelines for the particular matter. And they're talking about, for example, by rapidly expanding zero emission public transport, creating low or zero emission areas, supporting walking or cycling, implementing vehicle restrictions, or financial incentives, disincentives, such as road use or parking charges, reducing truck, non-road machinery, and city-owned vehicle emissions, cleaning up construction sites, equipment, reducing industrial emissions, reducing emissions from wood burning, expanding affordable access to clean energy. So you get the idea. They're changing the entire location. And it's not just going to be there. So they're also changing food as well with their Food Cities Accelerator program, which is moving everything essentially to planetary health diet. So they want to reduce food loss by 50%. How do you reduce food loss by 50%? Well, it's probably not going to be a pretty journey for many people. So if they're saying that people have discretionary food and they're wasting it, well, obviously the only way to combat that would be for less food to be available, right? So that's a guess. So I guess we'll see. We'll see how that kind of plays out. But the big question is, what of the 12 countries are on the verge of a really big issue? We all know America is on the verge of a problem, but it's not America right now. The 12 locations, the big default. Look at that headline, the big default. The dozen countries in the danger zone. This came out 5 days ago. Now look at these countries. So you have Argentina. The sovereign debt, the world record holder, looks likely to add to its tally. The peso now trades at near 50% discount on the black market. Reserves are critically low, and bond trade at just 20 cents in the dollar, less than half of what they were trading at in the 2020 debt restructuring. The government doesn't have a substantial debt to service until 2024. That's 6 months from now. So, but it ramps up after that, and we have a concept of crept in the powerful Vice President Cristina Fernandez, right, to may push to renege on the International Monetary Fund. Well, Ukraine, they also listed. Tunisia, Africa is a cluster of countries going to the IMF, but Tunisia looks at most at risk. Well, you have Ghana also. Furious borrowing has seen Ghana's debt to GDP ratio soar almost 85%. Its currency, the cedi, has lost nearly a quarter of its value this year. It is already spreading over half of tax revenues on debt interest payments. Inflation is also getting close to 30%. Egypt has near 95% debt to GDP ratio and has seen one of the biggest exodus of international cash this year, some 11 billion according to JP Morgan. Kenya, which has just collapsed, spends roughly 30% of revenue on interest payments. Its bonds have lost almost half of their value and currently have no access to capital markets, a problem with a $2 billion bond coming due in 2024. I mean, look at America's commercial real estate crisis. I mean, we have $1.5 trillion in just commercial real estate loans that need to be refied in the next 18 months. So you have all this world debt that's getting pushed to the center stage in the next year or so. It's going to get nasty. So people think that we're not going to be walking into problems. No. I mean, facts suggest we are. Ethiopia plans to be one of the first countries to get debt relief under the G20 Common Framework Program. Progress has been held up by the country's ongoing civil war. Through its meantime, it continues to service its sole $1 billion international bond. El Salvador, Pakistan. I mean, El Salvador's making Bitcoin legal tender, right? Trust has fallen to the point to where an $800 million bond maturing in 6 months trades at a 30% discount, all 2024. Pakistan struck crucial IMF deal this week, right? Breakthrough that could not be more timely, with the high energy import prices pushing the country to the brink of balance of payment crisis, right? Belarus, I mean, Ecuador, Nigeria, all these countries are all stepping into problems at the same exact time. I look at what's going on in America. We look at where consumers truly stand with credit card debt, with student loan debt, with auto loan debt, with record high food inflation, utility costs rising up, car insurance going up, and real wages are softening. We're stepping into a massive debt crisis worldwide, and the restructuring and the change that's going to be coming to this economy is going to be unbelievable. I've been saying this on this channel that we're in the greatest wealth transfer of all time because I genuinely believe it. I think it's going to be the biggest wealth transfer in my life, my children's life, It's going to be probably the biggest wealth transfer of all time, and we're in it right now. What do you think about this entire situation? Drop it below. Hit the like button, add me on IG. And if you want to fix your credit, we'd love to help you at my company, greatcreditfast.com. That's greatcreditfast.com. You can go there, schedule a free strategy session. We'd love to see how we can help you. I'll catch you guys in the next video.